Jason's got a big old sack, but not on his back. It covers up his hideous face. It's Camp Crystal Lake season, Camp Crystal Lake season, and all the campers are gonna get got because they can't stay out of Jason's spot. He'll come at all times on the clock and stab all the campers down. Yes, he'll stab all the campers down. Yes, he'll stab all the campers down. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of Friday the 13th Part 2, Crystal Camp Lake Boogaloo. So there you go. In all seriousness, this is one of the better entries in the franchise before it went totally off the goddamn rails on the crazy train. They tried every goddamn thing. Him taking Manhattan, him dying and going to hell, him going into space. And then they did the Friday the 13th remake in 2009. But in between that, they did Freddy vs. Jason, which was less than good. Even though it was messy and it was fun, it was also early 2000s CGI and a bunch of bullshit. But I figured since it's Friday the 13th, why not talk about a good addition in the Friday the 13th franchise before, again, just things. It's actually astonishing how well made, for the most part, the first few editions were. I know Chapter 4 or Part 4 really gets a bit of a bad rap, which I think is unfair. 5 was fine, and 6. 6 is where things really got out of control. But that being said, this was directed by Steve Miner, who did Friday the 13th Part 3. He did House, not the TV series, but the original horror movie House. I think they ended up doing 4 of those for some reason. They did House 2, the second story. You'll see what they did there. Warlock, Forever Young. And because Mel Gibson wanted to be forever young and racist and anti-Semitic, he wanted to be forever young. Halloween H2O, Lake Placid, and then Texas Rangers. And then if you take a look at his IMDb after that, he didn't do a lot of big budgety stuff. Texas Rangers is kind of absolute shit. It was also written by Ron Kurtz, who did Eyes of a Stranger. And he also did, based on characters, he had uncredited stuff in a couple other Friday the 13th movies. And this, of course, was based on the characters by Victor Miller. This has Amy Steele, John Farey, Adrian King as Alice. Alice doesn't live anymore after a little bit. Kirsten Baker, who really looked nice. Really, really nice, by the way. And a few other people. Jason was played by 2 people, according to the credits. And this takes place, it originally said like a year after the events, but actually it's apparently 5 years. So I guess the first Friday the 13th did not take place in 1980, since this movie came out literally a year later. And speaking of Alice, she was the sole survivor, the final girl, and she is not doing so well. She's just around and just, kind of panicking a little bit, having a lot of nightmares, as you would, seeing all your friends being dead and being pursued by the youth of America, and Jason's in the water, the youth of America. Okay, that's from Scream. Apology, you can't tell that I like Scream at all, can you? No, you can't tell that I like horror movies. How could you guess by the background with the t-shirts? I need to get more horror t-shirts. Whole point is, Alice is having bad dreams. She's kind of a bit of a bitch towards her mother, and then ends up meeting her end because she gets killed. Well, otherwise, how else would she meet her end? Would she just die of old age? Are we going to watch that happen in real time? No, this is a slasher that needs to go by quick. What happened to the cat, by the way? The cat didn't help. I assume that the cat got food. Maybe the cat ate Alice's corpse. So, we then got the Friday the 13th logo popping up and exploding. The first one collided in the glass. The second one exploded. Why did they blow up the title? What is the, fascination with destroying things? 12 minutes in, we get the credits, by the way, of an 87-minute movie. Formatting. By the way, most of the opening act was just recycled parts from the first one. Where Betsy Palmer, who played Mrs. Voorhees, got killed. It's funny reading up about Betsy Palmer that she needed money and that's why she did the movie, but she didn't knock the cash. She just wasn't very happy she was in it, and then eventually came to pass that she liked what she did. Because she appreciated what it meant to people and even did signs at conventions. That's good. So the old guy that said, "You're doomed, you're all doomed," he showed up and then got promptly killed a little bit later. And Jason, Jason basically is just wearing a giant sack on his face. Basically, not the iconic hockey mask. I believe he picks that up in Part 3. Nope, Jason just has his big old sack that he's thrusting in people's faces. You're going to see as much of Jason's sack in that third act as you want. Big, bulgy, veiny sack. I'm going to keep saying that until it's in your head and you can't unsee it. So, a few people arrive. More people arrive, including our final girl, Ginny. And Paul, who is played by John Farry, says, by the way, we have bears out there, so don't put any food out there. And ladies, keep clean, especially when you're on your menstrual cycle, because they smell blood. That's easy to do. That's really... Fortunately, we don't get any attacking bears. No hockey mask wearing bears, more in the pity. And Jason's still out there waiting, but it's a legend. No, it's a legend. It's a complete legend. There's no Jason out there, even though Alice got stabbed through the goddamn head. But they don't know that because cell phones and the internet didn't exist back then. And, yeah, the old man gets killed by a chain. Jason just decides to kill... We get a few kills on camera, and then we get a shocking amount of violence off camera, which I don't understand. So a couple people decide to go off and go to the death camp, Camp Crystal Lake, because it's not taking place at Camp Blood / Camp Crystal Lake. It's taking place at a completely different camp, but one located nearby. Somebody did not plan this very well. Because Jason apparently is just like, I could just hop and skip over. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It could be like the running that he did in the Friday the 13th LJN game. Fuck LJN. I wish that they had never been created, because even though we got memes out of it, they create horrible video games. So, Jason basically just dons his large sack and pursues people and kills people. Fortunately, the dog doesn't die. That's good. Bichon Frise. I used to have a cat that was cut like a Bichon Frise. Or Frise, however the fuck you say it. She was a great cat. She was a Persian. She was dumb. Always adopt, don't shop. Anyway. There's a lot of sex talk, including one guy's in a wheelchair. Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. Mark's fed up with this world. Wait, no, that's not him. There was one point where Terry, played by Kirsten Baker, decides to just go skinny dipping. I'm not going to complain. She looked pretty goddamn good. But also, Slasher Movie 101. A bunch of people separate and go for one last night on the town before the camp reopens. So, this is all before the camp opens, by the way. And Jenny talks and says, well, maybe, he only knew his mother. He never had any friends or whatever. It's kind of sad. Maybe it's real. Oh, no, he's just a legend. That's it. He's a legend in his own mind. And then, while one girl is trying, Vicky, who's trying to get ready to sleep with Mark, even though he's in a wheelchair, other parts of him work. And she gets ready she says a few minutes, and it seemingly takes forever. She puts on Death by Giorgio, perfect for victims of camping. And then Jason just decides to kill a couple that had sex. That's good. Puts a spear right through him and right through her. Double penetration. Ouch. And Vicky then gets killed. And then Paul and Jenny arrive to see everybody dead. Paul tries to attack Jason, but it's so dark you can't tell what the fuck's going on. Jenny runs away and notices a shrine that Jason has dedicated to her mother, which is something a cop reacted to earlier when he didn't see. He's like, oh my god, what's happening? And then the cop gets killed with a hammer to the back of the head. The meaty part of the hammer, by the way, the claw hammer, ow, oh, my brain, it's not supposed to get the hammer in it. And then she finds a shrine and puts on the sweater and dresses up like Jason's mother. And it fools him for a bit until he sees that his mother's shrunken head is there. Ooh-ee, ooh-ah, wait, you're not my mother, I'm gonna kill you now. Nobody gets that ever. Goddamn, Game Boy was really on something when they did that advertisement. So, they kill Jason. He is killed by his own weapon. Oh no, he's dead. They remove his mask and, he's all icky. So then they're back in the cabin, and they think Jason's stalking him. No, the dog is very much alive. Hooray, the dog's alive. And then Jason's at the window and pulls Jenny out for one final scare. And then Jenny's fine, but Paul isn't. Maybe Paul's in another ambulance. Who knows? I mean, if it's anything like the other ambulance that took off with her, they didn't even wait for him, the paramedic, to finish shutting the door. Good job there. And then we go to black, and then we continue the series because these movies kept making insane amounts of money for the time and didn't cost very much. In fact, I think the one that had the most budget at the time in the 80s was Jason Takes Manhattan. I think that was $5 to $6 million. That's saying something. But overall, it's quite fun. Again, body count's a little bit low. I would have liked maybe, a few more people get, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you got people getting killed, so it was fine for what it was. I did like the one kill where guy was hanging up by a rope or whatever and not named David Carradine, so it threw me off there for a second, and got his throat slashed. And then his girlfriend couldn't save him because he was dead already. If you do this again, I'll kill you. He already beat you to it there. So anyway, yeah, overall pretty goddamn fun. Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.